zero, which is existence, then you apply negative.
I'm not gonna look. I'm done with you, Skyzer. I'm done with your bullshit. Okay, I'm done with your bullshit.
You're the one who's supposed to understand science, guys.
I'm done with your bullshit. Okay, again, you're ignoring. I've said things 7, 8, 10 times, and you just keep ignoring them. So there's just no point. We're not starting from zero. Quite obviously, the sentience exists. There's no zero here.
Existence is zero. Sentience is a value. You apply to it. You said that. Sentience creates a value.
Again, I apply to it. I apply to it. Again, if you're going to argue that sentience doesn't matter, then make that argument. But if you're going to keep claiming that I'm giving it the value, no, I'm saying that this is a theoretical truth. That goddamn sentience matters. You can't figure that out, then you're fucking stupid.
Not stupid. I'm just trying to understand why you can't see that if you're giving something a value that requires sentience, which you say it does, then fine. But what you're saying is...
Enough. I mean, really. I mean, how many times? 10 times. I told them I'm not going to accept I'm giving something a value. If you're going to argue that harm is not a value, that it's not a negative in the universe, and that there is no positive to compensate for it, make the argument. But if you're not going to make that argument, then fuck you.
I didn't get his whole fucking... I really didn't get his whole fucking, you know, oh, if nothing existed, then value wouldn't exist. That's your fucking argument. If nothing existed, then fucking this shit wouldn't fucking be a problem.
Well, yeah, if the negative didn't exist, we couldn't think about the negative and then negatively think about how negative the negative is negatively affecting us negatively. Yeah, that's right, we couldn't. Fucking idiot. Yeah.
He was like the one who poo-pooed the person who brought up God, and then he went off on this, like, well, the universe has, like, this plan for
Well, I think the real argument is that, like I said, if life was created by a God, he would have all kinds of questions. He would be like, what the fuck are you thinking, God? How do you justify that? How do you, he would have all kinds of critiques to make. And it's just, because it's a retarded, dumb force. No, it knows what it's doing. It was here first. It's got to know what it's doing, right? It was here first. Is that all that's all that matters? It was here first, so it must know what it's doing.
Gary, I gotta disagree with you on one. Sorry, I gotta disagree with you on one thing. It's not retarded. It's dumber than retarded. Retarded implies some modicum of fucking intelligence. This shit, like, if the universe was created by a retard, it would be better.
Well, I'm not sure of that, right? Because retards do things that are even more retarded than not intelligent. Like, retards are different than just unintelligent. They're fucking stupid. I mean, they mix things up completely backwards. So at least the universe might not accidentally do something completely backward. So, I mean, a retard could probably make it even worse. I mean, retards will eat their own poo. I mean, I don't think the universe would do that.
I don't think, like, there'd be, like, suffering or shit in a retarded universe.
Well, I think there would, because retards wouldn't know it was suffering, you know what I mean? They'd think the poo was food and they'd eat it.
If the poo tastes good to them.
Well, something like that. I wonder if Paul's still in the room. He's all frozen, I think. I wonder how his back's doing and such. Probably sleeping. Oh, look at it. There he is. He's thumbing up and shit. Hey, Paul! Yay! See, the guy some good drugs, so he's feeling better. Oh, he's got a big mug. He's lifting that big mug, so he must be okay. Yeah, your back is okay when you're handling the big mug.
Reason to hate Skyzor, he chased out the chick.
well, yeah. I mean, well, look. I mean, it was a reasonably adequate conversation. I let it go too long, but I mean, you know, it needs to be done now and then.
Like, you know, I bring this up, like, I was about to kick him. I wouldn't ban him, because he did, you know, that did kill like an hour.
People can't go appreciating life and shit.
Yeah, well, you can appreciate all you want. You can love rainbows. I mean, you know, it's like I was making that video the other day, and there was those two little perfect black swallowtail butterflies, you know, sitting together, supping a little water. And it was just so perfect because I was just talking about sex and romance and whatever shit, and there's these two little butterflies. It was just this perfect little moment. Yeah, you can have those little perfect moments. It doesn't mean anything philosophically. It means something to us psychologically. Alright, there's a difference between your psychology and philosophy. They're two different things. I mean, you can't expect philosophy to have big boobs and a well-manicured vagina. That's not the way philosophy works. It isn't there to satisfy you, to comfort you, to make you feel good. It's the fucking truth.
I was thinking, I can't remember how while ago you were talking about ContraPoints. Nicotine was doing a history of philosophy videos, and you were talking about how shitty they were. You should do some. Like, actually, like, the philosophy that fucking matters. Buy 'em, mend 'em.
Yeah, well, you know. Well, you can just make up history, right? That's what I love. You know, he's doing these videos. It's meant to making this shit up. I mean, you can you just make up Aristotle. You make up all these characters because it's all hearsay. I mean, none of it is written anywhere. It's all just well, 300 years ago, I think a guy said, and then 600 years later, some guy writes about what the guy said about the guy 300 years ago. I mean, you can just imagine, you know, how far off of reality that history is. Yeah, inspired I am. Oh, she's just so stupid.
Rewatched that video this week, the video that, like, Hannah Barker did when Inspired I Am was depressed, and he was like, if anything happens, I'm going to call the ACLU on you, and they are going to prosecute you.
Yeah, well, that was the irony, is that the video, she was basically talking about how I was right. You know, it was just so funny. You know, like everybody was blaming her lunatic state on me.
It's something with, like, that guy and you, James. Like, I'm really glad I hate them, because, like, now everybody hates them, and I can be like, I hated them first. It's like with Thunderfoot. It's like, I hated him first.
Yeah, Thunderfoot's hard to hate into the same level as some of these other people, but ugh, yeah, that Hugh James guy was just. Oh, I mean, it's just a personality thing or whatever you call that. I mean, he's just so affected and so obnoxious in every. I mean, it's just like, you know, you couldn't even stand in line at Friendlies with this guy. I mean, he's just so insufferable.
Amanda, how dare you say, you, James, is insufferable. Blah, 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 blah.
That was really good. Yeah, he's like Jabba the Hutt, you know. It's like you're just not gonna wait in line at Friendlies.
I'm not joking.
With Jabba the Hutt, I mean, he's just such a, you know, slobbering. You're just like, oh, I can't stand this guy.
This time I was up at my friend's Rob's house, we were crying laughing because I was basically going, hello everybody, it's me, you James, and I want to fuck Chibi Moon. Because that was like when he came out, was like defending, like, you know, abolishing age of consent laws.
Yeah, well, they all go this nutty direction too. That's the other thing. I mean, you know, it's the Hannibal Barca thing. Yeah, that's what us atheists gotta work on. You know, we gotta work on changing these laws so I can fuck 13-year-olds. Even though, like, there's not a 13-year-old in the world that isn't blind, deaf, dumb, and retarded that would sleep with that fat tub of shit.
Too about that argument, like, you could actually make a well-reasoned argument about, like, how the laws need to change, but, like, to completely be like, no, we need to throw them out, these laws are not important at all. Like, how do you do that?
Well, whatever, it just has to do with, like I said, they have the personal agenda that's just completely owned them, so they just don't have any integrity. I mean, you're doing videos that just
really
seems
creepy.
quite obvious that this is
really creepy.
your own desperation talking, and you're just like, wow, that's pretty fucked up.